Joe in real life. I got my weird, like, flying nud mug, my glasses, my cul-de-sac. It's a sunny day in Savannah, Georgia. And yeah, I'm still pretty angry and frustrated about my wasted time and energy it being a cocktail lounge bartender, which just, I can't even say that out loud without feeling some kind of fucking, just absurdness about it. I don't know. Like, anger's a weird one, right? Because like I'm angry and I have cause to be angry. I have cause to be frustrated, you know? But it's really useless. Like okay, a thing happened that's not optimal and I'm left carrying the consequences of it. My time was, an enormous amount of time and energy was wasted, and it cost me money. It cost me money to take a new job that I don't get to enjoy any benefit from, you know? Like really the better part of a month I spent working my ass off to make something work that now can't work. And I'm angry about it, right? But like, that anger is just another nuisance. Like now I have a series of adjacent related nuisances I have to sort out, plus my feelings. Like it's more work. It isn't less. There's nothing efficient about anger in this case. And I do think that anger is efficient sometimes, which is why we go to it so quickly, you know? Like we wouldn't keep rebooting these experiences if they didn't, if we didn't enjoy them on some level and they didn't work on some level. You know what I mean? I'm not sure I'm explaining this very well, but in this case, it's just another chore. It's just another thing I have to do. Like, I was fairly overwhelmed this weekend with my kids, and I was struggling hard to be the best dad I could, given the situation. And overall, I think I passed that test, you know? But choking on this kind of anger, it just made my job more difficult, you know? There was no benefit to it at all. And like, I can make this observation, and maybe in a pseudo-philosophical way, it even sounds somewhat profound, you know? And maybe it even would be if the realization itself offered any catharsis, if there was any relief. But there's none. It might even do the opposite. I hate that. I hate that idea. Like, realizing that this self-righteous anger is just a nuisance that's creating more work for me just makes me angry anew, thereby creating more nuisance. And then we have this meta-structured fucking spiral of just problems, you know? Largely of my own creation. So, good times on that one. What can you do, right? Do you wait till it passes? Is there some strategy to fucking flush this out of your system? I don't know. I know I don't have much time before work. I didn't sleep well. I had my kids all weekend. I did run last night. I got a nice 5K in. Honestly, that felt great. And I think I'm just gonna build up to a heavy front squat today. Ivan just PR'd his front squat at 185, which is an astounding front squat. It's double my front squat, pretty much. Maybe I'll PR my front squat today. Why not? At least give it a shot. I haven't touched anything over 170 in a while. Mostly 155. And I in no way feel up to the task. But also, yeah, you're driving around. Also, historically, that doesn't seem to matter. So let's give it a shot, right? I'm gonna build up in the usual way. I'll do it time lapse. We'll start at 45. We'll do 10-pound jumps until we hit something. That sounds good. Let's do that. Hey, I love you guys. Thanks for listening to me. I know I've been being a baby lately, and I appreciate your support. Stay tuned. Ugh, frustrating work. I mean, frustrating in that it was neither good nor bad. Like, I hit 175, which is pretty good, you know, like 20 pounds over my minimum. And I had more, but it felt sketchy. It felt a little suspicious in the very bottom position. I was kind of bouncing out of it. And this is at 3 times speed, so you'll see that, but you won't see it as dramatically as it happened in real life. I'll do some regular speed once and show you. Like, I'm moving the weight and I'm moving it confidently, but in the very bottom there's a little bit of body English, and I don't know. You know, it's funny, I've been thinking about Ivan a lot lately, and watching his videos with renewed vigor. And I was never a form Nazi, like ever at any point in my life. I'm pretty resilient through my joints, and I have an awkward body and mechanics. So being a form Nazi and like being shaped like myself just doesn't make a ton of sense, you know? But lately, the last month or so, for whatever reason, I just like, when I'm in a tough position, when I'm in like a sticking point and I do something questionable or off book to get out, I feel like oh, don't do that, don't do that. That's gonna be a thing, you know? And I suppose that's just being a sensible lifter. But what's funny to me is like, I've never been that way before. Like, the weight goes up, the weight goes down. However it happens is good. And you know, if you didn't hurt yourself, if you didn't experience sharp pain, then you lifted, and that's just that. And like, hemming and hawing over like mechanical and tactical advantages and disadvantages, that just seems like pointless busy work, you know, not unlike anger, I suppose. But lately, I've kind of come to the other side, you know? And I was at the bottom with, I felt it first with 165, and I excused it as it's just 10 pounds heavier than what I have been doing stuff with. So like, maybe the motor patterns didn't process it quite right. And I went up to 175 and felt it again. And it was like just a little imperceptible wiggle in the bottom to like help me find some torque to get up. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't know if I like that. Which, like, it's totally safe and totally fine. And I don't know why I'm being weird about it. Maybe it's just interesting, right? Maybe it's just like a fun thing to think about and process. I will say that since I've been committed to my daily minimums and not really exceeding them, it's been nice to watch the movement kind of go with like I'm not doing any more weight, but I'm doing it with far better control, with far better fluidity. The staggered stops and starts of our nervous system really aren't happening to me with either 185 or 155. And I like that. But of course, the downside, which is probably what I'm talking about without realizing it, is that like, now I put a little more weight on the bar, I have a little sticky moment, and my brain's like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like what's happening here. You know, maybe you got to dial that in. Maybe you got to tighten it up. Maybe you should be careful. And it's very out of character for me. Like, I don't lift that way. I didn't do yoga that way. I definitely didn't run that way, which is why I've had so many goddamn injuries. But I'm changing. I guess. That's the point of this. Also, we're like 4.5 minutes deep it's really nice to just be talking about weightlifting and not my feelings. And I should probably do more of that too. You know, I've definitely been in my own heart and my own head lately. And yeah, like, it hasn't been such a great place to be. So it's sort of a relief to be out, you know? And yeah. Hey, I'm grateful for all of you for that, you know? I'm really grateful for your comments. I'm really grateful for your attention. Many of you have reached out kindly to me, and I appreciate it enormously, you know? It moves the needle in my day-to-day. It genuinely does. And yeah, I value it. So, you saw me sit on the floor a second ago. And I was just doing a little breath work, a little meditation. You've probably seen me do it in the past. What was happening there was I felt myself falling into the labyrinth, you know? The labyrinth of negativity, of dark thoughts, of indignant anger, self-righteousness. And I just sit down. And I clear it out with my breath, you know? Part of why I do that is practical, because like, it's nice to get your nervous system up when you're going to lift a little bit, but if I lift angry, I really genuinely will hurt myself. And actually, now that I'm putting the pieces together, that might be why I kind of had a flare up with 175, a little bit of fear, you know, where like the weight moved fine, but I'm not in a great headspace to be moving weight like that. And historically, I've made mistakes that looked exactly like that. So today wasn't a mistake. I feel great. My run yesterday, which I thought would leave my legs heavy and flat, they moved well, you know? I had 185 for sure. And I did like the idea of doing it just as a sort of romantic tribute to Ivan's 185 kg. But thought better of it. Erred on the side of prudence and caution. Anyway, that's all I got for you. One last rep, 175. This is Joe in real life. I love you guys. Be nice to each other today, man. I gotta get to work, and I'm gonna try hard to do the same thing. You know, life's hard everywhere all the time. Yeah, did you see that? You see that little wiggle in the bottom? I didn't love that. Anyway, I'll talk to you tomorrow.